I woke up last night about 2 a.m. in a panic, just filled with anxiety. I don't sleep terribly well anymore, unless I'm down in some melatonin or something like that. I'm 58, wake up multiple times in the night to pee. Last night was a little different. Last night, I was worried. My head couldn't stop. My head just was racing with all kinds of things. I woke up and I was worried about money. I was worried about things I have to do, things I haven't done. I was worried about my kids, my relationship with my kids. I was worried about my family. I was worried about the woman I love. I was worried about the moving next week. I was worried about the move. I was worried about my health. I was worried about promises that I've made to myself that I haven't kept, and promises I've made to other people that I probably let them down too. And a lot more. Yeah. I know I'm not alone, but you think you are. You think you are because of social media. Social media makes you think you're the only one. You're the only lunatic who, doesn't have a great ass, six-pack abs, this awesome car, a ton of money in the bank, who isn't, doing, cold plunges and saunas and optimizing their life and pondering the bigger purposes on the beach in Cabo. Yeah, social media will make you feel that way. But I, like you, have some real shit I deal with. It got me last night. It has been quite a year. We moved from Texas to California last year, and it's been great. It's been really great, but it was a hard year. It was really hard for me. A lot of big transitions, a lot of introspection, and some things that just didn't work. That's just it. Sometimes you're windshield, sometimes you're the bug. And last year, certain things were challenging, kicked in the ass professionally last year. Okay. I got kicked in the ass financially. I did not have a great relationship with my kids. I lost a couple of friends. I had to look at my role in all of that. I had to figure out what I wanted to do next. And at 58, that is no easy feat. Okay. The bigger thing last night when I woke up is I started to think about the what do I have to do? Okay. And, if you're like, me, or a lot of men are this way, is when things aren't going their way, it's like, you know what? Damn it. I'm going to put my head down. I'm going to push through, work harder, and I can beat this. I can fight through, which is great. Except if you're pushing a big brick wall, it's tough. And that's kind of what I felt like. And so I woke up in the middle of the night, freaking out. And I don't know what hit me, whether it was, whether you would call it a God wink, spirit, whatever you believe or think, or my subconscious. But I stopped, I slowed down, and I picked up the phone, and which is probably the worst thing you should do when you can't sleep. And I start doom scrolling. Okay. I start going through everything on social media, and it's just making me feel worse, and then I run across, a guy named Ben Nemton. He made his name talking about, what do you want to do before you die? That particular phrase stopped me cold in the middle of the night. And it got me thinking, it's easy for people to talk about the bucket lists of, oh, here's all the things I want to do. And I want to go to Kilimanjaro and Mount Fuji and do all this. Great. Of course, the mental state that I'm in, and probably you may have been there, is at 58. One of the things I worry about is, hey, I don't know how long the runway is. I don't know how much time I've got left. God willing, get another, 34 years out of this thing. I want to go in my early 90s. But the time, the blink of an eye of a time, it just made me think about that. It made me think of, we've been out here a year since we left Texas, and that has gone like that. I mean, just lightning fast. There's so many things we have not done that we wanted to do. It made me think about 15 years, 15 years. Okay. 15 years I've been divorced. Okay. And that has just been the blink of an eye. 29 years. My daughter was born, my first child. And she's a grown woman that's married now, going to make me a grandpa someday. Okay. It's gone like that. I can remember just first time holding her 30 years ago, I'm 28 years old, and I wrote my first book, and that came out. And it just seems like I was just a young kid in New York talking about Gen X and writing. And I was just starting my life and my career. And who knew that when you wake up, it's like gone. So yeah, in the middle of the night, I'm waking up and thinking of that. I got to think of how fast time goes. And I thought of all the time that I've wasted on people. I've wasted on worrying. I've wasted on chasing things that don't matter, things that aren't fulfilling. The panic of, oh my God, there's a bump or my chest hurts or whatever thing. And I start worrying about that, the time that I wasted on these things, the times that I worry about, oh my God, there's a wrinkle, or maybe I'm not as mobile, or I'm not as virile as I used to be. And oh shit, you're getting old and time is running out. Okay. I mean, it's a lot. And the insane amount of information coming at us now. Okay. That leads to the doom scrolling, the never ending, to-do list of activities, of things I've got to take care of, the just insane amount of cost of things, and the diminished value of what you get for those things. Crazy. It's the fact that we are connected to everything, yet have never been more disconnected. We're disconnected from the things that matter. The constant marketing, hype, and sales, chasing the money, chasing a Band-Aid. Okay. And we've all got them. We've all got our Band-Aids, whatever you think. And I think I'm the only one, or that I'm a massive screw up. Maybe there is this genius to Mark Manson's subtle art of not giving a fuck. I get it. Last year was hard. It just became a lot. Just the world in general became a lot for me, dealing with the weight of it all and dealing with the weight of other people's issues and things. I'm tired of being the how-to guy and having to solve everybody else's issues when I'm having my own. And then I'd go and I'd read comments from folks about their own situations. And I just grew sad, especially about jobs. I'd done a lot of information about jobs. It got me about how we spend so much of our own life force and energy and time on this earth doing something to pay the bills and get a Band-Aid. And it got me. All this is going on in the middle of the night. And it got me thinking. The reason I woke up was because I was worried about something business-wise. If I got, I'm going to have to do something that graspy, reachy, just put a Band-Aid on something. And I wasn't being true to myself. That's the point, is sometimes when we are stressed, we go to the familiar because it's uncomfortable, but it is familiar. I thought I have to break this cycle because I don't want to get pulled back into it again. I'm tired of doing Groundhog Day on repeat, being pulled back for the 17th familiar bad time on something. Because one day, time is going to run out. I don't want another day, another week, or another year like that. I don't want another month to go by without living and participating, truly participating in being present in my life and being true. I don't want to live another month or year putting Band-Aids on stuff, or saying, oh, okay, well, I will. We're going to, I go back to Ben Nemton's thing of, things I want to, or what do I want to do before I die? And it stopped me cold. And I started writing last night in the middle of the night. And I thought, okay, what's my new list? My new list of things I want to do before I die. And I remember it was about 14 years ago, just after I got divorced. And I did something similar. And that list then was very transactional. That list then was very tangible. Well, I want this and I want a boat and I want this. It was a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff oriented, or go place oriented, or my own self-achievement oriented. And I've done some of those things, but last night's was different, man. I gotta tell you, there were things like, I want to take Shannon to Paris. And I want to take her to Africa. I want to write another book. I've written 5. Okay. I've been on big bestseller lists, but I want to be on the New York Times bestseller list before I die. That is something tangible that I want. But the rest of it, they were intangible, rather they weren't stuff related. They were things about how I want to live my life. What do I want to do before I die? I want to spend more time with my kids. Truly spend more time with my kids who are all grown, who are living their lives, but I want to spend time with them. I think it was Jesse Itzler who did the scary math and said, really, if you think about it, you have 20, 25 years left in your life and you see your kids once a year. Well, that's it. You're going to see your kids maybe 20, 25 more times. I don't want that. I want to be active. I want to be in their lives. Okay. I want to spend more time with my kids. I want to go to more concerts. I want to enjoy live music and performance and things more. I want to paint more. I used to paint all the time. I love being creative. I want to paint more. I want to write more. But I want to be present and in the moment more. I don't want to have to doom scroll and live someone else's life vicariously. I don't want to sit there and worry about in the middle of the night of what Band-Aid I have to do to rob Peter to pay Paul to take care of this so you can do whatever and just start over again at the other month. I don't want to have to worry about money. I don't want to be Miami baller rich, but I don't want to have to sit there and reinvent the wheel every damn month or worry about it. I want more friends, and I want to have more interesting conversations. I want to let go of the regret. I want to let go of the past. I want to not worry about the future or how much things cost. I want to be happy, and I want to be satisfied with what I do and what I have and where I'm at. I want to feel safe, and I want to feel secure. I want things to slow down. I want to show up as the man I know I can be, that I know is in here, but I push down and hide too often. I want the people I love to be proud of me, and I want to be proud of myself. I want to feel like I've been true to myself and authentic to myself and kept promises to myself, and that I've done something good. I want to go out on empty. I want there to be nothing, unsaid, undone, untried, or unattempted. I want to stop running and chasing things that don't matter just so I can get to another month and then start over again. I want the things in my head to quiet and to slow down and not wake me up in the middle of the night. I want the world to slow down, or at least be able to sit there and enjoy the view while it passes by sometimes and enjoy the small things. That's what I want to do with the rest of my life before I die at 58, not knowing how much time I've got, that it's important to me. That's what I want to do. It's funny. I've spent too much time trying to control the uncontrollable, and we all do that. Whether it's someone's reaction, what someone thinks, you can't control any of that. In my podcast, one of the questions I ask, the last question actually I ask every guest, is I say, hey, you got a time machine and you can go back and you can have a minute with yourself. What would you tell your younger self about how to navigate this stage of life? And it's funny, for me, there are many. One would be just be true to yourself, okay? Follow your gut, follow your instinct. But most importantly, nobody gives a shit about you. You put too much importance on what other people think. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just be you, authentically you, as you want to be. And don't worry about anybody else's expectations. They're trying to come up with their own stuff. When someone judges you, they're projecting their own. But live your life, truly. Live hard, love hard. Be true to yourself. That's it. And don't worry about the things you can't control. That's a big one right there. It's funny, I make a living writing, doing content, speaking and all that here on social media, and there's so much you can't control. I mean, look, was it 2 weeks ago, I put out something that reached well over 1 million people. This week, I put out 3 things that all of them collectively reached less than 300 people. You never know. And yet sometimes, it happens to the best of us. I can't chase things anymore. I can't play to the trends. I can't play to the algorithm. I can't play to the what ifs. I can only be true to myself and hope that what I do, what I create, what I say, what comes out of my mouth, how I show up personally in real life, professionally, here, I can only hope that I put it out there and that it crosses the path of a kindred spirit like you, or that it resonates and connects with somebody. I can't control that. I can just do that and put it out there. I don't want to be that how-to guy anymore. And as much as I may be good at it, but here's the thing. I'd much rather be the conduit. I'd much rather be the vessel that we're all going through life together. That was when I started mass adulting. That was the whole idea behind it. Hey, we're all going through this together. Anybody that tells you they have their shit together really might not. They might look like it. They might really have it together in one way, but not everything. You know what? So maybe let's kind of help each other out a little bit. Can help each other out, give each other a little space, a little grace, and a little leeway and slack, and go, hey, you know what, brother and sister, I know you're probably going through something. And if you can learn from me, or maybe you just need hey, you got this. That's okay. I'm only here for a short time. We're all only here for a short time. And we all have this unique power, but too often we give it away, or we fail to see it in ourselves, or fail to use it because we're chasing the wrong things. We're chasing stupid shit. As I wrote all this down, as I thought about this last night in the middle of the night, it came back to follow your gut, not your fear, not your past. Follow your gut. It's kind of like the Wizard of Oz, Remember at the end, old Glinda the Good Witch, she tells Dorothy, she looks at her and goes, you've had the power all along. We have the power all along to live our lives as we want. And yet we get hung up on our childhood, on mom or dad, or an ex, or society, or what other people think, or relationship, whatever. And we throw that roadblock in there. We have the power all along, right here. You're not alone. That's what I want to leave you with today. You don't know the impact you have on someone else in their life. And you get caught up in your own head, or I get caught up in my own head. Let's just call it like it is. Of you think you're alone. You think no one cares. You think no one sees. And there have been some dark, dark times. And a few weeks ago, I was in a spot like that. So I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, I was useless. I got an email from someone that I went to high school with. I had not talked to in better part of 40 years. Let the record state, when I was younger, I was an asshole to some people. There was this one guy I was not a good guy to. I just did not treat this guy well. I played tennis, growing up. I was very good, played all over the country, and I was very rude to this guy. And that's a big regret of mine, but I hadn't thought about it until he sends me an email. I was shocked when I saw the name. And what was interesting was this is a guy who had every right in the world to just give me the finger and, never talk to me again or call me the big jackass on the planet, because I was. But what was interesting is 40 years later, I get an email from this guy telling me he had an illustrious military career. He had retired a full colonel in the Army and said, you know what? I just want to tell you, I've been through some hard times and I've watched some of your videos and things you've put out there and done, and it has really helped me get through. It has really pulled me through. And not only that, there's some other people that you grew up with, that we all grew up with, that we talk. You don't know this, but we talk, and we've watched them, and you've helped. And he reeled off 3 other people. And I'm sitting there thinking, wow, I am going through this thing not knowing if what I do matters, if I am the most useless piece of crap in the world, and I get something from the least likely person on earth who said, no, you mattered. You mattered. You made a difference to me. We're no different. You and me, we're no different. Doesn't matter whether you put something out on social media, you write a book, you just offer a hand, you say something nice. You don't know what you mean to people. Oftentimes we think the reverse and we think the bad stuff. You don't know what you mean to somebody. Anyway, you have the power all along. So what do you want to do before you die? Tell me what's important to you. Tell me what you want to do. And let's stay in touch and let's try and make it happen. Thank you for spending some of your time here. It means more to me than you know.